Welcome everybody and welcome to the next 20 pages of our Turn to Lead. Now in this episode we're going to have a lot more background story once again, but it still kind of intertwines with the meetings that they had, and it kind of goes into more depth with the whole the millennial generation taking advantage of the financial industry. So without further ado, let's get right into this. I have to go to work soon, so let's do this. First point being is the Bank of North America meeting. So in the last video we talked about the Lakeview meeting. Now we're talking about the Bank of North America meeting. And in this I have a lot of notes once again because there's a lot more in this 20 pages to talk about. So in the Bank of North America meeting, you had the meeting with the retail bank CEO, Patrick Kinney, and the executive vice president of business development, Cassandra Smith, along with Michael Townsend. And Michael Townsend was pretty much there to talk about the next future developments for the Bank of North America. And the CEO, the retail store CEO, Patrick Kinney, was pretty much like asking Cassandra and Michael, like, what should we do in the future? And Cassandra actually took the lead on this. She took the initiative, and what she did was she said, there's two ways we can approach the future. We can pretty much approach it with either focusing the older generation once again, but kind of go into more depth. Like, for example, once they're done with their careers, they have their whole retirement career, and they get to decide like if they wanted to take out like a vacation card kind of thing. And then the other approach, which is pretty much about the millennial generation and like how they should be pursuing that generation because of the long-term scale of things. And Patrick Kinney, he wasn't against it. He was just kind of like the last CEO of Lakeview Bank, Stanley Rusk. He was pretty much just like, we've done things like this all the time, but Cassandra, I think like you have a good idea. Let's just implement it and give it a try and see what happens. So he wasn't opposed to that at all. So he's totally cool and on the go with that. So now we're going on to the second point, which is going to be Mundus Novus. I don't know exactly what that pronunciation is. Like, I don't know what it originates from. However, it is an old term from, I think, the 1500s, and supposedly it means a new world. And what this was pretty much, we had Ryan Kearney and Chiara Toscani, I don't know how to pronounce her name. They went to like an investor kind of meeting and tried to like get investors for the company. And what their company was Mundus Novus. And what it was pretty much a social network lending company. And they were talking to this one investor, which was Nora Hazelton. And they got her interest pretty well. However, towards the end, Nora pretty much, what are you doing? Hold on. I have a special guest, my kitty. But Nora, what she was pretty much talking about at the very end of like their presentation, she was just like, "Oh, good luck fighting those dragons out there." And what this pretty much translates to is like, "Yeah, you're kind of crazy. This is never going to work in the future. Don't even bother. You're going to keep fighting dragons in the future. Like, this is just all mythological crap, pretty much." So they got dissed pretty hard, unfortunately. But something that kind of stood out too that Ryan Kearney and Chiara pointed out when they were discussing their idea was millennials are different. Millennials believe in free. Boomers believe you get what you pay for, which is totally true. Like, for example, whenever we were talking about crushing it, you want to keep giving free content out there. The more value you give to people, the more people are going to be interacting with you and more engaging with you because people like free. Just make sure the content is good free content. That's the catch. But going on to the third point, which is going to be the millennials. Now we're going on to 2015. Everything we talked about was 2010. So in 2015, what happened? So we're going to actually talk about Joshua Fitzgerald and Caitlin Howard. However, during this time, we find out that in 2011, 2010, Mundus Novus, this company, was funded. They got the capital to fund their idea, and it actually came to life. And so Joshua Fitzgerald and Caitlin Howard. So Joshua Fitzgerald, what he wanted to do is he wanted to create his own virtual gallery. We kind of talked about this in, I think, the 2005 portion, which was like 2 videos ago, about how he wanted to, make his own gallery, or he wanted to own his own artwork area. And this time he finally does it. So he makes a virtual gallery with 2 others, and what they call it is the New Network Gallery. However, they had to pretty much get the loan for it. And how did they get the loan? They used the Mundus Novus. I cannot pronounce it for crap. But you get the point. They used Mundus Novus to fund their network gallery. And the way they got the loan was from someone from Tokyo. They posted up their application, and someone from Tokyo got their interest, Joshua got the person's interest from Tokyo, and that Tokyo investor decided to invest with them. So they decided to actually start launching it. Now, we don't know too much about it yet. They just pretty much say that they got the funds for it. And then we have Caitlin Howard. We don't even know who Caitlin Howard is yet, but I will tell you now. Caitlin Howard is Joshua's fiance. I was wondering whenever I was reading, I was like, who the hell is Caitlin Howard? I looked all at the beginning of the book. I'm like, did I skip another character? Turns out I didn't. But yeah, Caitlin Howard is Joshua Fitzgerald's fiance. And what she was she was pretty much working at a school, and she was teaching, but she was on a contract. And what she had to worry about was if her contract's going to get renewed, and she was kind of like waiting, in a sense, to find out if she's going to get renewed or not. So she decided, her parents banked with Lakeview Bank, and her parents told her that you should check out Lakeview Bank, and they're going to help you out. Now, mind you, in I think 2005 or 2010, I don't remember which one we talked about. Remember how Lakeview said when they had the executive meeting, they were trying to figure out how do we what should we start pursuing after, the millennial generation or the older generation? And the result was that they pursued the millennial generation. So fast forward 10 years later, we find out that they pursued that, and they've been doing a successful job at it. And Caitlin actually meets up with an ambassador of the company and starts talking to this ambassador and pretty much figuring out how she can create her own business in private tutoring. And because she didn't want to rely on that one contract renewal, because who knows if she's going to get it, and even if she does, how much longer is she going to be there? So she met up with someone from the Lakeview Bank, and turns out she got a loan for her idea. So pretty much this kind of shows that Lakeview Bank took the initiative towards that millennial generation, and they're helping millennials out creating their entrepreneurial journeys. I think that's all I have for you guys. That was a lot of more background information, more storytelling than actual good advice to give you guys. But it's still kind of interesting kind of seeing the different perspectives of how these banks have actually restructured their plans to actually fit the millennial generation in the future. Starting from 2005 going to 2015 now. That is all I have for you guys. Oh boy, I am so off today. But follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. And please, subscribe on YouTube, guys. You guys are awesome. Keep on being awesome. Have a great day.